Nothing's more important to me than the security of my country and the security of my family. Protect your home and your family with America's most trusted home security system. Protect America, now just $19.99 a month, gives you and your family the peace of mind they deserve. Protect America and protect your family today. The evidence presented by the U.S. Unclassified Assessment on Syria's use of chemical weapons is both inconclusive and childish. The 4-page official document looks like it's been written by a third grader, is filled with inconsistencies, and hinges mainly on circumstantial evidence. Not anywhere in the report does the U.S. government present any conclusive evidence specifically addressing who was responsible for the alleged chemical attacks that took place in Syria. Rather, we simply are expected to take the U.S. government's word for it, much like George W. Bush relied on this tactic before the invasion of Iraq. The most important question needing evaluation by the American people and the international community at large is who is responsible for the chemical attack, not if the attack actually occurred, which is largely indisputable. Strangely enough, the report references social media, which it discounts in the West regularly as illegitimate media, as the primary source of information and video footage proving the attack. But again, the most important question needing to be asked isn't whether the attack occurred on August 21st, 2013, but who carried it out. Nowhere in the report is concrete evidence provided to answer this question. The significant body of information the document cites as evidence is laughable by any common sense standard, stating to protect sources and methods, we cannot publicly release all available intelligence. Well, then why release any public available intelligence at all? One of the more hotly debated inconsistencies is the U.S. government's assessment of the casualty count, which in and of itself should be one of the most important facts or pieces of evidence in the report. A preliminary U.S. government assessment determined that 1,429 people were killed in the chemical weapons attack, including at least 426 children. This is disputed, however, by Anthony Kordsman, a former senior defense official, now with the Washington-based Center for Strategic and International Studies, who took aim at the death toll discrepancies in an essay published on Sunday. According to the Sacramento Bee, Kordsman criticized Secretary of the State John Kerry as being sandbagged into using an absurdly over-precise number of 1,429 that noted that the number didn't jive with either the British assessment of at least 350 fatalities or Syrian opposition sources, namely the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, which has confirmed 502 dead, including 100 children and tens of rebel fighters, and has demanded that Kerry provide the names of the victims included in the U.S. tally. President Obama was then forced to round off the number of well over 1,000 people, creating a mix of contradictions over the most basic facts, according to Kordsman. He added that the blunder was reminiscent of the mistakes the U.S. made in preparing Secretary Colin Powell's speech to the UN on Iraq in 2003. A recently released French intelligence report further corroborated the inconsistency in the fatality count, confirming only 281 deaths. Another eyebrow raiser is the report's assessment claiming U.S. intelligence had collected streams of human signals and geospatial intelligence that showed the Syrian government had been preparing for an attack 3 days in advance. This raises even more complications. If the United States government knew the chemical attack was going to occur 3 days in advance, then why didn't they warn Syrian rebel groups and innocent civilians, including innocent children, of an imminent chemical strike? The report that the U.S. has provided the public is clearly built on a foundation of sand. Rhetoric, lacks conclusive evidence, and is focused on opinion instead of concrete facts. As this is debated in Congress, the most important question Americans need to ask regarding the justification for an intervention in Syria is still left unanswered. Who is responsible for the chemical attack that occurred on August 21st, 2013? And where's the evidence?
Hospitals overflowing with victims, terrible images of the dead. All told, well over 1,000 people were murdered. Several hundred of them were children. Young girls and boys gassed to death by their own government. This attack is an assault on human dignity.